page turns and welcome back to the channel. I'm Matthew, the man with a hat who reads. And yes, you saw the headline on this video. This is the cow video that everybody was very adamant they wanted. Well, I did the best I can. So, a little background before we get into some of that. I recently reread Neil Gaiman's Fortunately the Milk because it's June Dairy Month, and I remember this being a fun junior fiction book with some great illustrations. I thought, I live on a dairy farm. Maybe people would be interested in seeing the cows or some of that kind of stuff. So I thought, okay, I'm going to try to film some little snippets of the milking and all that. I'm going to apologize right now because I don't think the clips turned out the best. It's been really hot here. So it's just, there's a lot of flies in the barn because the flies just love to come out around the cows. I did get some footage. I'm going to just kind of briefly talk a little bit about it. I have some footage of the cows coming in the barn and getting their feed at night. I have some footage of a cow being milked a little bit, and then showing a little bit in the milk house when the milk comes in from the barn and into the tank, and briefly explaining some of that. I also have some other footage that I've kind of sparsed into the video here, including at the very end, where I have a nice little shot of some baby calves in our barn. They're about a month old. So we'll go ahead and go into that footage first, then I'll come back and talk about the book. So the milk comes in from the pipes over there into this jar. As you can see, it's coming in pretty good right now. And then as the jar fills up to somewhere about here, it'll pump down through this pipe and down into the tank. Pretty sizable tank, as you can see. Our milk hauler collects the milk from the tank every other day, and then it is hauled off to a plant where it is made into cheese. Okay, so now you have a little bit of an idea of some of the milking stuff when I talk about milking, because we do that twice a day here on the farm. So let's talk about Neil Gaiman's Fortunately the Milk, because this is the BookTube channel. I got to talk about a book somewhere. So this was first published in 2015. I got it from the local library, even though it's essentially for younger readers. I'm a Neil Gaiman fan. The title just sounds interesting, and this cover art just looks bizarre. So I thought, I'm going to try it out. I read it really quickly, and then on my reread, I read it in like an hour, hour and a half, afternoon. It wasn't very long. It's not a long book, but essentially what is happening in the story is our main character has gone out because his children have informed him they don't have any milk for their breakfast cereal. So he goes out to the corner store. He's only going to be gone like 10 minutes, he figures, and they wait around. He doesn't come back. And when he finally does come back after quite some time with the milk, they're like, well, where have you been? And he rambles into this story about time-traveling stegosauruses in hot air balloons, and pirates, and wumpires, and aliens, and time travel. There's just so much going on in this intricately wrapping story. And it is a lot of fun. The illustrations are fun. I mean, you get a little idea of it. There's a lot of illustrations in here. I mean, here's the Wumpires world here a little bit. It's a lot of fun. I can see like 8 to 10-year-olds having an absolute blast with it. It's pretty simple reading. I mean, the illustrations are a lot of fun. To those booktubers who follow me who have young children, they would probably enjoy this if they're at the right age. I mean, if they're too young, they're not going to get anything out of it. But if they're like 8, 7, 8 years old, 10 years old, they can probably read it themselves if they wanted to. This is a really fun book. I was like, okay, it's one of those that, is it going to be as good the second time around? I mean, it had been 8 years since I read the thing, and I'm like, my opinions could have changed considerably towards it. I still had a blast. It was still a 5-star read for me. I'm so glad I found this on my most recent half-price books excursion, which has been a couple months now. Got another one coming up next week, so that'll be fun. But Neil Gaiman's always good. The story is a lot of fun. It's funny. It's adventurous. The illustrations by Scotty Young are also just fantastic. There is just so much to like here. It's such a fun story. And if you're looking for something a little bit more in the lighthearted junior fiction side, you could do a lot worse than this. I really enjoyed this. It's phenomenal. It's just so cute. And those are my thoughts on Fortunately the Milk, and you got to see some cows. I mean, I'll be honest, I was like, oh, this is an idea that might not work, but people really responded to the idea of seeing cows in the video. So again, apologies on the footage. Some of the footage ain't the best, but I hope you liked it. I hope you learned something if that's your thing. And if you're ever in the store and you see Prairie Farms cheese on the shelf, you might be consuming milk from our farm. Just throwing that out there. So that's what I have. I'll leave you with some baby calves. And until next time, keep turning pages.